Hello there and welcome to your GG Replay for Friday, August 13th, 2021. GG Replay is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday podcast where we break down the latest in gaming news for you, hosted by the Goodnight Groofs, a place for games and a place for goofs. We're workshopping the slogan, but I am Paul on this beautiful Friday, and I am joined here by Matt. As always, how are you doing today, Matt?
Paul, I'm doing great. I'm feeling really good about today, and I gotta say, you have that intro down. We've done this like 30 times now, so but you really have that intro down.
I've really got it now. If we change it, at first it was just me totally ad-libbing it, and then now I've kind of gotten to the point where it's the same every time and just pick it right up.
I like it. It's great. I do have a Friday soda fact, if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
So I saw this one last week, but I opted not to go with it, but I do want to go with it now. So, and it's because I just drank a coffee a couple hours ago.
Too.
Usually not a afternoon coffee guy, but I did today. Coca-Cola in the 80s, they tried to replace the morning coffee. They had a campaign that they called Coke in the Morning.
Okay, yep.
And they tried to replace the morning coffee. And honestly, before I was really a coffee drinker a few years ago, I would do a Diet Coke some mornings, and that would be my thing. Much happier to be a coffee person now. I
had a coworker when I was working retail. He would get like a 2 liter of I was gonna say
Oh, if you're listening to the audio version, I almost just spilled out my drink. So
kudos to the GG Replay mug for keeping it together.
Oh my God, Paul.
He got a 2 liter of Coca-Cola every morning. I want to say coffee, but then I said he would just work on that thing all day. From the morning, like, no matter when the shift started, we'd start at like 9 a.m. or whenever. He would just like start the Coke and he would just work through it. And if he finished it, he'd go get another one.
That's disgusting.
And it was nasty. And he was like 40 and he was just like rail thin.
What?
And just like he barely ate. He just drank Coca-Cola all day long, like a 2 liter. And
God,
so that was
so weird.
So some people do that. I know some people also like will do energy drinks in the morning and stuff. At this point I limited myself. Because I like the coffee ritual like we talked about before. So I limit myself to energy drinks more in the evening, just as an alternative to coffee, because I find they're not as powerful on me. Like, they don't last for like 6 hours like coffee does, where I'm up all night long. So
Right.
Yeah, and one last thing, just interesting note on your point about the morning Coca-Cola. I really think it reminds me just these soda companies getting too big for their britches. It's just like Foots Clements with the hot Dr. Pepper, boiling Dr. Pepper, trying to replace tea in the winters.
They really need to just stay in their lane. You know?
They're like, Dr. Pepper sales are down the window. We're gonna make hot Dr. Pepper a thing. And then Coke's like, you know what? Not enough people buy Coke in the mornings. We have stats for it. So why don't we try to make that? Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it didn't take off. That seems like a pretty legitimately good. The 80s in America, Coca-Cola. Like, I mean, like, maybe New Coke kind of threw off their whole jam a little bit, but Coke in the morning really feels like it should have become the American zeitgeist at this point. Like,
I think it did for a lot of people. Like my father-in-law, Diet Coke every morning. He used to. He doesn't anymore, but he used to.
I'm imagining like you have like your eggs. You have like maybe even have a coffee, and then you're like, some people have coffee and an orange juice. Imagine like coffee and a Diet Coke.
Yeah, I did it for maybe like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months, and then I just started to feel weird about drinking soda in the morning. So I stopped.
There's just something about it, like, right, you just feel like this feels wrong. This feels dirty.
Yeah.
This is a gaming podcast, GG Replay, and every Friday, just as a reminder, we do like to have a little bit of fun, talk about something off topic, and usually we talk about soda has been the thing we've been doing here, and there's enough to talk about for soda for a while. Now we're going to move into some gaming stories here, talk about the latest at the end of the week here in gaming. First off, just want to let you know that if you come across any necessary corrections, we're not perfect, if you come across any necessary corrections in today's episode, send them over to ggreplayshow@gmail.com. or head down to the YouTube comments below. We can address them in the next episode. We love having feedback, especially when we get stuff wrong, because it's good to make sure we have everything correct and have that set. So good to know. Now we got to move right in because we have so much to talk about today. And one of the first things is we have 4 games for the review reviews are in. The reviews are in, Matt. We have 4 games.
4.
Where the reviews came out for.
More than
All
3, less than 5.
That is the definition. And all indies, all of varying quality, but all very interesting to both of us. So the first one is FORECLOSED. This one got a 61 on OpenCritic, and that's out today. Pretty interesting. It's kind of like a cyberpunk comic game. It reminds me a lot, Matt. I don't know if you ever watched the MTV Spider-Man cartoon show in like the early 2000s.
No.
And it looked kind of like a video game. Like it was like they were working with like an early CG, and it looked like this. And it reminds me so much of that. The style, so like the vibe I'm getting from seeing reviews and stuff, the style was really cool. And like the characters seem kind of interesting in the world, but ultimately the actual stealth combat or like the actual gameplay was super lacking, and the story too.
Yeah, that's what I got even just from the trailer. Like it looked like it was trying to do something cool, but the actual gameplay just didn't look quite right. Yeah. So, an honorable attempt, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. A good first step. Clearly they're good at something. They're good at world building, maybe not world building, but like creating a cool aesthetic. So maybe they can take that and
it's a cool idea.
Something else.
Like a cyberpunk comic book game. Like it looks neat from the
idea, like I guess the other thing too is like this idea that his like identity, the main character's identity, was like foreclosed upon, which is like a kind of a funny term to use, foreclosed in that scenario. I get that it's supposed to be like a weird cyberpunk dystopia, but like I feel like there's other terms. But anyway, made me think of like a real estate.
Yeah, when I saw the title of the game, I'm like, is this like some sort of real estate sim?
A house selling sim,
where you're a bank and you're foreclosing everyone.
You know, what'd be an interesting idea is like for like a power wash simulator or something kind of game is a game where you have to like you're a real estate agent, you have to get a house like staged and ready for it to sell, and so you have to like go around and like clean everything up, and then the neighbors come over, and anyways,
there has to be a real estate sim like that has to exist, right?
Right. That seems right to me. Gotta look it up after that. If anyone knows of any good real estate sim games, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Shoot us an email. We're really interested.
There's House Flipper, which sort of it's along
or there's
those
that
lines.
Horrible one that everyone memes on like on Reddit. That one. What's that one? Housescapes, and it's got that creepy guy and it's always like in iPhone ads.
I haven't heard.
And it's like
one.
it's this creepy guy. You like click around the house, like, oh, look, the plant's on fire. Better put that out. And he's like, good job. So yeah, something like that. Speaking of fire, there's another game. Next game, Fire Tonight. This one got a 74 on OpenCritic. This one looks pretty solid. It's kind of like a narrative adventure game. It's got kind of like a 2D, like a depth kind of perspective. It's interesting. It looks like the house, like the town is on fire, and you're trying to interact with your friend. Or I mean, I had trouble This was the one I couldn't quite nail down what was supposed to be happening in the game.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't quite nail down the gameplay in the trailer. This was one that when I was watching it, I was like, this looks like something that Paul might be sort of into.
Yeah, it reminded me kind of like
not so much, but
yeah.
I don't know. It felt like it was missing voice acting.
Yeah, I thought so too. It reminded me of a game, and I'm blanking on it now, that was like you walk around like an island with an abandoned theme park on it, or abandoned camp, but I can't remember the name of it.
That sounds cool.
It's cool. You played it, like Oxenfree.
Oh, yeah, Oxenfree.
It reminded me a bit, like the visual style kind of reminded me of Oxenfree, and it made me think of that, and I was like, I wonder. Like,
was that an abandoned amusement park? I barely remember.
It may not be. I think that might have been part of it. I can't quite remember. It was like an island where they used to go, and it used to have like attractions. I know it was like a camp thing. It was cool. I'd like to try playing that again. That was something I felt like.
It has a sequel coming soon.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll get back on it. It's on Game Pass. It's on a lot of stuff too. I think I have it on mobile. But yeah, looks pretty cool. Now here's a game Matt and I both thought was really exciting.
Yes.
Black Book. This is an RPG adventure card game. We've seen a few games coming out like this over the last few years. It's becoming more and more popular with genre. This got an 80 on OpenCritic, which is great. That's also out now. This game looks so cool. You're basically like a witch in the 1800s, and you have to like save your beloved with your grandfather, and you're doing magic, and it's one of those classic like you're a turn-based card style RPG game.
Yeah.
But there's like choices seem to matter. There's like a morality system to doing nice things. Like you can go around and like do positive stuff or do evil witchy stuff or something. It looks very cool.
This looks really cool, Paul. And the first thing when I was watching this, the first thing I thought of was Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales.
A lot like that.
And that's, for anyone who's not aware, that's like the single player Gwent Witcher game. And it's very similar to this. And what's also crazy is I think this Black Book game is also based on Slavic tales as well, which is really cool. But it looks, so maybe that's just my thing. Maybe I'm just into that like aesthetic and that style. And
I think that's cool though. By the way, question: I haven't played Thronebreaker, but I keep seeing on Game Pass. It looks really interesting to me, but I was kind of turned off by the card-based stuff because I wasn't like crazy about Gwent. But like, I'm not like I don't mind playing like something like this, like a turn-based card game. Is the story and like the game cool enough that I could get into the card stuff?
In Thronebreaker?
Yeah, in Thronebreaker.
I haven't played Thronebreaker.
Or is it really okay? I didn't know if you had played Thronebreaker or not. No, I might give it a try then.
I've played Gwent in Witcher 3, and I've played Gwent standalone, but I have not played Thronebreaker.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'll give it a try maybe because it does look pretty cool.
I imagine the story's good though. I mean, it's based on Witcher stuff, and I think those stories are really good. So
yeah, absolutely. And finally, moving on to something that actually looked pretty cool. Greak, spelled Greak, Greak Memories of Azure. This is a 2D action platformer. Got 72. And that one's out Tuesday, so that's coming soon. Matt, I like your observation you wrote here. It looks like Ori meets Hollow Knight.
Yeah, it does.
I get that a lot. It does feel like a tighter game, like Hollow Knight, where you're kind of walking around. It looks like you have like the thing where you can switch between 3 different characters or several characters. And certain ones of them puzzle open different areas of the game. They all have different specials. Some are magic, some are sword. It looks pretty cool. It definitely has that kind of magical feeling to it. But yeah, the graphics look pretty cool. The way, like the glowing effects and things to jumping around and using your different power-ups and stuff looks pretty cool. So yeah, it looks like a fun game. Probably not something I'd pick up over, like I still have to get through Ori and Hollow Knight and a bunch of other stuff before I probably would even get to something like this, but
either this game actually looks better than most games like it, or I'm just in a really good mood because I actually thought that this looked kind of cool.
I do think the look looks really cool. Yeah, I really like the graphics on it.
Again, I'm not sure if I'd go buy this game, but you know, if it were on Game Pass, maybe
right.
You know, so I already have the subscription. Maybe check it out.
There you go. By the way, fun thing. Speaking of Game Pass, before we move into the big stories of the day, 2 things. A, Hades is on Game Pass today, which I'm fucking excited for. I haven't actually gotten down to play it yet, but I think that's going to be a tonight thing. I'm really, really excited. I got the weekend to go.
I'm excited for you.
Some Hades. I'm pretty excited because, like I said on Game Groofs that we recorded last night, it's out today actually for patrons, but or Sunday coming up for you guys. I played Curse of the Dead Gods this week and got me kind of primed for Hades, so I'm pretty excited on that. Other thing I was going to say, though, that game I was actually saying looked pretty cool on Switch, the Switch indie Boyfriend Dungeon. Yeah. That is actually on Game Pass right now. And I started kind of messing around in that one today, and it is weird. It really does start out totally like a dating sim, and then I think it becomes a dungeon thing. It's funny. Like, oh, it's like you go visit your cousin, and then your cousin's like, oh, you know, you haven't dated anyone in like forever. Like, we should go out and like help you hit the town. The way everyone's meeting these days are in dungeons, like real life dungeons.
Oh my god!
It's like, it's really funny. It seems really weird and funny. Like, hey, can you turn to a sword? No, it's okay. Like, not everyone can. Like, okay. So anyway, that's pretty exciting. So some cool stuff. I mean, this is just the summer of indies, man. It's just indie city, and I love it. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I love that we're in a time right now where you just get all these awesome indie games. Like, there's so much stuff that I wouldn't even want to play, but people are super into, and I just love that there's so much out there now.
Yeah, great. There's a niche for everything. It's so amazing. It's awesome. So talking about big stuff. Big news of the day. We got to talk about it. GTA Remastered Trilogy. We talked about this, I think, just on Wednesday or Monday. This week, definitely, we've talked about it. It's actually happening. So we have rumors this is happening. We're pretty down on this being a thing. And rumors are even saying it might be coming this fall, that's crazy. So we did actually. So Monday we talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kotaku sources told them that it could be a remastered bundle for GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, which is what we were kind of thinking was going to be the remaster for October or November, possibly.
Yeah.
And the big thing they're talking about, which this is, I think, something crazy to interesting.
Yeah.
The remaster trilogy also being on Switch and mobile, which is... Yeah, so a lot of people are thinking... Now, here's the thing. They say remaster, but remaster, remake, these can mean a whole lot of things. It's a lot of marketing sometimes or how they're going to frame things. But here's something. The rumors saying, here's what we know. They're remaking this in Unreal Engine, is what I was reading.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because EA has Rage sitting right there. They could remake stuff in Rage.
You mean Rockstar?
Or not EA, sorry, Rockstar, yes. Rockstar has Rage right there.
Yeah.
At their and now, but the other thing is that the rumor or the thought is that Rockstar Dundee might be making this game, and they were a recent
Oh,
acquisition in 2020.
okay.
And so a lot of people think that Rockstar Dundee, who has worked on the Crackdown games in the past and some Kinect games, like not a ton of stuff, they might be more familiar with working with Unreal Engine. And, it might be good to train them on Rage, but at the same time, it might be a better time. Also for cost cutting, maybe it might make sense to use Unreal if they want to get this game out quicker. It really depends. I mean, this is all just kind of rumor-based stuff, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at the inside baseball a little bit and wonder. But at the end of the day, if it's coming out on Switch and mobile, that really hinders what we're imagining the capacity for this remaster could be.
Yeah. So, Paul, on Monday, when we were first talking about the possibility of this, I said that I think that this is very unlikely because it would be such a big undertaking. Well, now
Huge.
the fact that it's going to be on Switch and mobile tells me that, okay, well, it's actually not going to be the full remaster that I was imagining that would have been a big undertaking. It's probably just, a new coat of paint, not really changing much.
Yeah.
And that's what it's probably going to be, unfortunately. There's some good looking games on mobile, but I don't anticipate this being anything nuts. Like, it's probably just going to be better character models, more detailed environments.
Yeah.
But is that, if it can run on Switch and mobile, I mean, that's going to hold it back, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not going to be what I would have wanted. I'm not super excited about this. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah.
I haven't played GTA 3 like since it came out. I never really played much of Vice City at all. Played little of San Andreas, so I would have loved to have, had a full remaster bordering on remake for these games that I could enjoy on my PS5. But now, like, okay, I mean, is it going to look like a PS3 game? I mean, it's on Switch.
Yeah. And I think you're also seeing like gameplay aspects too. People wondering, it's the classic no changes versus changes thing. A lot of people saying that the gunplay and a lot of the gameplay, especially in 3, but even in Vice City and San Andreas, is pretty god awful. Did not age well. It's really hard to actually enjoy the game in.
Yeah, I mean, GTA 3 basically created open world games.
Yeah, GTA 3 is the first of its kind in doing this, and yeah, it's extremely dated.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of people saying, hey, if it's not janky and terrible and kind of shitty, then it's not even really like the same experience of playing the game, and so it's not going to feel like the game anymore. And and it's like, how much can you change without remaking the game, and then how long will that take? They're not, that's not how long they're doing it. So it's a lot.
Paul, when I saw the mobile and Switch thing, I felt like this really just feels like more of a cash grab than anything else, which is disappointing. Like,
I mean, that feels like kind of like Rockstar right now,
I guess Rockstar's going that route, right? This is not what Rockstar used to be, but since GTA Online had huge success, this is sort of what they've become. Red Dead 2 was a great game, but that was in development since before GTA Online exploded. So
yeah,
it's kind of disappointing, Paul. I don't know where Rockstar is going to go after this. I don't see. People seem to be excited about this. I don't really understand why. I don't know if they understand that it's going to mobile and Switch.
So there are people, and I've seen this, apparently playing on PC right now or being able to get like a stable, very workable version of Vice City or San Andreas is actually kind of hard. Apparently they're a little glitchy and things like that. So a lot of people are like, hey, listen, yeah, it'd be cool to get a remaster, but I just want to play the games. And like, I just would love like to have a stable release that was easy to just turn on and play.
That's fair.
And it's like, okay, fair. Like if you're true Blue fans and you've been playing for, 20 years and you want to just go back and play those old games, you don't really, and you're like, yeah, it'd be cool to have it, but if not, then whatever, then yeah, this might be for you, to have a stable release. Another thing I saw was a lot of people saying that they're disappointed that Grand Theft Auto 4 isn't getting love because, that's kind of the redheaded stepchild of GTA.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying there's not really a good way to play it or buy it on any systems, and it's kind of like left behind. It's in this awkward place between like newer gen graphics, but kind of like old school. And it would be the easiest thing to kind of remaster and be able to put out. But Rockstar is kind of like, forget that won't happen.
I think as far as like story goes, GTA 4 is actually probably the most compelling.
Yeah, I agree.
And because you were mentioning the PC port, because Rockstar hates PC so much, of course, the PC and mobile versions are coming next year. They won't be coming out at the same time. Of course, Rockstar can never release a PC port at the same time.
Of course not. And that's probably on purpose, right? To get that updated fanfare later on and have like a re-release. And
Oh yeah, so they can sell
buy
it twice, totally.
It's like, oh, I'd rather get it on PC, but I want to play it now, so I'll get it on Xbox, and then when it comes on PC, I'll get it again. It's like, great,
Absolutely.
cool, yeah. Great moves. Also, same sources are saying that Red Dead Redemption Remaster is likely. If this does well, sure, why the heck not? I just don't think, who cares? It's going to look the same. I saw some people saying on like Xbox Series X right now, apparently Red Dead Redemption, you can play in native 4K already.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. So I mean, unless they actually bothered to do a full remaster, I'm kind of wondering, like, is it worth it? Like, I feel like it's not even that old. It's not like, it's more like GTA 4 than it is any of these other games. It's not that old.
Yeah, I would be excited about this if I didn't think that they'd also be putting this on mobile. So
that's what I feel like. I just feel like it's not. It's more just making it accessible to everyone. So
because
I don't know.
I've said before, but I didn't love Red Dead 1. And I would love to give it another chance, but it feels a little outdated going back now.
Yep.
I actually tried to play it again right before Red Dead 2 came out, and I was like, I'll just wait for Red Dead 2 and just play that.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember trying to play it in like 2018 or something, and it just felt a little dated in some of the gameplay, but maybe I'm just a snob, I don't know. All right, let's move on to talk about the biggest disappointment of the week. On Game Groofs, we have a little segment called Peak of the Week. Talk about the best thing that happened in the week. Today, we're talking about the worst thing that happened in the week, and that
the Valley of the Week.
Yeah, the Valley of the Week, Peaks and Valleys. This is Blue Box Game Studios. We love talking about them on here because it's always intriguing. Well, we already talked earlier in the week that they delayed their teaser on their what would you call it, real-time experience app.
Yes.
That's meant to be like a fake version of PT from 2014 or whatever. So the teaser trailer has finally
PT.
Yeah, it is finally went live today, and Scuffed PT is not even close in the ballpark of what this was.
No.
This was delayed 2 months for localization issues first, and then for a graphical glitch, quote unquote.
Yep.
At this point, it was guess what? It was a 3-second fucking video. It was on their Twitter already a couple days ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought maybe that was a tease of the tease. Nope, it was the whole thing.
Yeah, if you saw the tweet the day that it was originally supposed to release, congratulations, you actually already saw it, so you no need to download the app. The 5+ gigabyte app, by the way.
It's worse than we thought it was. We predicted on Game Groofs yesterday that we thought that this was going to be maybe like a few, 30 seconds, a lot of text on the screen, nothing. It's 3 seconons.
It's a dude walking, and you can't see him.
It may as well be a picture.
So
pretty pointless. No DualSense features. Hilarious. Well, I don't even know why you'd say that. DualSense, not even close. There's no DualSense features on a 3-second video. There's no rumble. They went back and deleted all the tweets. So it's like, oh, you're not getting this for free anymore. Now that we've revealed this is the big thing, we had to get the app.
Well, no, that's still up. But they deleted the tweets that were talking about the issues that they had over the last 3 days.
Because they didn't happen.
Of course, yeah.
Because Hassan Karaman does not understand that the internet is permanent. That the internet continues.
He doesn't apparently. It's really weird.
He's DMing. He doesn't think anyone can screenshot things. It's like, oh, delete the tweets. They're gone forever. People DM him and he lies in the DMs. Oh, it doesn't matter. They're DMs. No one's gonna screenshot those. Like, it's insane.
Paul, I don't believe that this teaser is in real time. I don't believe it.
No, you don't.
No, It's not doing anything to make me think it is. Like it just looks like a 3-second video. There's no point.
Even if it were in real time, it wouldn't be impressive in any way. So I don't know why they would even bother making it that way. It's really depressing, to be honest with you. So I think we've come to the conclusion at this point. This is a full-on sham.
Yeah,
full-on scam. I think we have some good. If you want to listen to like all of our thoughts on it. We did on Game Groofs talk about that a little bit this week, so that's coming up on Sunday. Or if you donate on Patreon for $3 plus, it's today. You can listen to that. And we went into some of our theories. But needless to say, at the end of the day, regardless of what brought them here, this is a sham. It's not what it's proposing to be at all. But I guess kudos to them. Bad publicity is better than no publicity. I guess was their logic maybe.
Part of that Game Groofs discussion is actually now already outdated a day later because we were some of it was making predictions as to whether or not we would see this before the end of the month. Did we all say yes?
Yeah,
I think we all said yes, but that it would be
actually,
short.
I said I wish it actually was pushed back because I wanted the story to continue.
Oh, true. Okay.
But it did not.
Yeah, no, this is at this point, like, this is a complete joke. Yep. And I hope that no one covers this anymore because it doesn't deserve anyone's time. This has been a complete lying. Blue Box Game Studios and Hassan have been lying to everyone. So yeah.
And hopefully people remember this. This is the kind of thing that is really nasty. Honestly, in the industry, it's fun to joke about, but it is kind of shitty just to lie and get everyone's hopes up and tease all these things. And it's just a nasty way to treat potential customers. So I think we're all going to be remembering Hassan and the team there at Blue Box Studios next time they ever try to pitch something, and we'll see how that goes.
And let me reiterate one more time. I don't feel bad for Hassan. He created this. Mm-hmm. He created this mess. Completely.
All right. In the vein of not giving any more press, let's move on. We're talking about Stalker 2 running on the Unreal 5 engine. Unreal Engine 5. This is really cool. So we've seen a lot of really cool early renders and really cool trailers showing off how Unreal Engine 5 looks. It looks unbelievably cool. And I think this means Stalker 2 is going to be the first Unreal Engine 5 game, right? That's what I was thinking. So
yep, probably the first one released, unless the Fortnite update happens before that.
Yeah, which is friggin' crazy. Even the idea that Fortnite is going to run on an Unreal Engine. I mean, obviously it's going to look stylized still. It's not going to like change. It's not going to become like a realistic thing or anything. But I'm pretty excited even then. It's just so cool to see that. Also worth noting, like you were mentioning, Matt, that the next Hellblade game will also be in Unreal Engine 5. But I mean, that's probably still a little ways off. Right?
I think that's the only other one that we know for sure is in cool. UE5 right now. And yeah, that is really cool. I mean, the first Hellblade game looks incredible. And so I'm sure that this one's going to look amazing on UE5. They're going to push the limits of it to whatever level they can technologically right now. Unfortunately, it won't be on PlayStation because now they are owned by Microsoft.
Daddy Microsoft.
Stalker 2 looks really cool. I never played the original. I'd always been interested, but I never played it. I know it had a really big modding community, which was always interesting to me. Stalker 2, though, the stuff from this past summer looked really cool, Paul. I'm really interested in this.
It does. It looks really cool. I'm excited to check it out. It's definitely a franchise that I have not followed too much in the past, but it does seem like it's going to be cool. And I'll definitely be checking just in for that Unreal Engine 5 stuff for sure. Now, here's an idea. What if the GTA remakes come out and they're running on Unreal Engine 5? Now that would be they still look like how they used to look. That's how they get around it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they'll be on UE4 and
I think that's
just be if they are using Unreal Engine. Yeah, that seems weird to me. If they were built in Rage, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't
do whatever you want, Rockstar.
Do what you gotta do, I guess. And the other thing is too, maybe Switch and a lot of people were saying maybe Switch and mobile won't be able to handle things built in Rage. Like it might require more work to like scale those differently. Okay. Maybe they're not really meant for stuff. Like they weren't really intending Rage to be used in those scenarios. So since there usually aren't very many Rockstar games on Switch at this point.
Paul, as the new spokesperson for Parsec on Unity, I do have to push Unity as an alternative to Unreal Engine right now.
Course, naturally, and as the new spokesperson for Valve's Steam Deck, I just got to say I'm sure the game would run beautifully on there. All right, let's move on a little bit, talking about games that won't run on PlayStation because Microsoft bought them. Let's talk about something that is probably going to run on PlayStation. Multiple Twitter leakers are reporting that a new FromSoftware game, not Elden Ring, exclusive for PS5 is coming. Now, do we think, I mean, right off the bat, Bloodborne?
I think the leakers said specifically this is not Bloodborne 2.
I think that is more exciting. I think that's really interesting that it's going to be something different. Although here's the thing though, is it ever that different?
Yeah. And he did say this would be another Souls-like. So it's like, can you do something? I know it works. I know this method works for you guys, but let's maybe do something different.
I guess maybe it's just not for us. Like, I guess you and I just aren't really the Souls-like people. Because, like, as I've seen, I'm like, oh, they're just making the same game and adding little things. But people are like, that's the whole point when you look at, like, Demon Souls and you move all the way up through the
You know
games.
what? That's
You really
fair,
see
Paul.
they get iterative, they get better, they're changing things, they're tweaking this formula to make, like, this perfect version of Souls-like, and it evolves over time. And, you know, I really appreciate that. Like, obviously, I'm just, like, a pleb and I don't get it. But I think it's really exciting because I know anytime FromSoftware announces anything at this point, people are like, hook it to my veins. So like obviously
That's
there's
fair.
something I'm just
Yeah, I
I'm just
mean,
missing out
you know
on.
what? I don't need every developer to be making games for me.
And it sounds like at this point I've just accepted that From Software is not making games for me. After the Elden Ring reveal, and I was like, you know what? I thought this was gonna be really cool, and it turns out to be another Souls-like, and I'm just like, clearly this is what they make, and it's just not for me. So that's fine.
People love that shit, Paul. They really do love it.
I know. I'd love to. Maybe I should just try again. I need to put one of them on Game Pass so I can
guess
play it.
what
I don't want to have to buy any of them and then waste my money on something that I'm not going to play. But
I think Dark Souls 3 is probably the one that people recommend most for a beginner.
Yeah. Or Bloodborne. I've seen people say it's pretty user opening friendly for noobs.
Wasn't for me, but
I know.
But give it a shot if you'd like.
Maybe I will. Yeah, maybe I'll get the PS4 out for that. All right, moving on to a game that has an interesting legacy, I think, so far. Control has surpassed 10 million units sold. This is a pretty big number. Now, here you wrote units sold, but I actually remember reading an article that said 10 million players.
Okay.
So I don't know if is that the way, not to like mid-show, but I'm like, I feel like I thought it said like a 10 million person player base.
I wonder if this was...
Because I was wondering, because this is on Game Pass and Epic Game Store for free at one point too, and I'm wondering, yeah, it has attracted 10 million players. Is the thing I'm seeing on
What
everything.
is this article on?
IGN says Control passes 10 million players, and then all the other ones say 10 million players.
Okay, that's weird.
So anyway, just something interesting. I think it's worth that specific wording is interesting to wonder because they came out with it for free on Epic at one point, and it is and it was on Game Pass for a time as well.
True.
And so that makes me wonder when they say 10 million players, does that mean 10 million people has been reached or 10 million units sold? Because I think that is an interesting distinction to make because that makes a big difference.
That I think you got it there. I think that's it.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, very interesting wording that they used for 10 million players."
I wonder how they're counting that. Like, are they counting? They can't be counting every person who claimed the game on Epic, right? It has to be people who like logged into the game.
Yeah, I think that would be what I would say, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're counting it. So pretty interesting. Also worth noting, because of the success of Control, which is a pretty cool game, we're seeing Remedy say now that a bigger budget Control game is in the conceptual phase of pre-production. We're talking like from what I've seen, from what the sound of it is, like a much bigger, more ambitious kind of game for Control, which is pretty cool for Remedy to take that on and get a little bit bigger because often their games are kind of self-contained. It'd be cool to see it get a little bit more open or wide. Also interesting to note, I know some people were saying that one of the issues that they had with Remedy and Control was 505 Games as a publisher is kind of like a shitty publisher, and apparently 505 is actually not publishing their next game. Apparently Epic maybe publishing their next game, which is also interesting possibility.
We did report like last month. Well, not. I mean, we didn't report. We reported the news to other people from other reports. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
we talked about it.
They did strike some sort of publishing deal with 505 for other Control games. I think they just have a number of like 2 or 3 different Control games in the works. They're really going all in on this world.
Oh yeah, they had that one that was like a
multiplayer one too, like a Left 4 Dead type thing.
Yes, that was strange. And then some people are saying that Epic might be producing this one or publishing this one, which would be interesting. Also, then we might be dealing with like Epic Store exclusives, which a lot of people don't love. So who knows? It's kind of a little up in the air, but interesting to see more Control. I mean, it seems like some cool game mechanics. I tried it, didn't get super into it. I'd like to try it again though. To be honest, I feel like what I really need to do is go back and play Quantum Break. But one day I'll get there.
Control is a really cool idea for a video game. But I will always say that I think it really benefited from coming out in a very weak year for video games.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Maybe they'll prove me wrong. I mean, they have these 2 or 3 other projects in the works. If those have a lot of success, then maybe Control really was a bigger deal than I give it credit for. We'll have to see.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm not sure. I think it's cool when you have like an interesting gameplay style like that. I think the other thing that made Control really popular was RTX. It kind of came out with RTX. It came out right as RTX cards were coming out,
Okay.
and then they were really showing it off as like a presentation of how good RTX lighting graphics can be, and how like the hands of God and all that kind of stuff. So they were really showing that off, and I feel like that was really popular. A lot of people were getting Control just to show it's like Crisis style to show off like how cool the lighting effects can look on their systems.
And the game ran
And then
poorly, so
and it ran poorly, partly due to these issues.
yeah.
I always see that people were showing off when I was watching some of the Steam Deck videos. They were like, "Hey, here's Control playing on it, and it's okay. It runs on medium. It's okay," and that's pretty good because Control's hard to play, hard to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. It sounds like they're really maybe. I feel like Remedy has found something that they seem to think is a staying power, and they're gonna milk it. Not sure how I feel about that, but we'll have to see.
I wish they would stay, a little bit more smaller scale, like with
Me
their
too.
old Alan Wake games. And
Exactly. And Quantum Break.
Quantum
And
Break really was kind of smaller scale.
Yeah.
It was. I like it when they do really interesting things with their games, and I don't really want them necessarily going the true like AAA action route. I like
Agreed.
I like how they do interesting things, and I hope they keep that up somehow, but it doesn't really seem like it.
Again, it's like Quantic Dream, right? It's like these like weird contained stories that are really cinematic, and I mean, obviously it's more gameplay based, but I'm just imagining like something that's meant to be more of like this interesting story game that has like beautiful, they hire these voice actors, and then imagine they made like a Detroit Beyond Human MOBA or something. It'd be the fucking weirdest thing ever. It'd be so shit. It's like that. It's terrible. Like, why are they doing this? I don't know. Crazy stuff. Also, Matt, you have a quick note.
I do have a quick note.
Yeah.
You want me to go ahead and
give go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So there are some.
I know nothing about this. I didn't want to get spoiled, so I didn't
I got you. Okay. There's some potential Call of Duty leaks out there right now regarding the next game, which is supposed to be called Vanguard. So look them up if you're interested. We'll report on it when a little more concrete information, and the information is a little more organized. It's kind of all over the place right now. Sledgehammer Games, who is developing this game, actually acknowledged the leaks today. So that was kind of funny. They tweeted out a funny GIF about it. The one thing we will say is that it looks like a November 5th release. That's looking like the likely release date. And I think now that that's been leaked, I think we'll also potentially get the Halo Infinite release date pretty soon here, because I think they were probably waiting on Call of Duty.
That's wild to see not a lot of stuff about this new Call of Duty game when we're so close to potential release.
I think this was supposed to be revealed a couple months ago, like during the summer when all that stuff was going on, but it wasn't quite ready.
Well, Activision has stuff going on too now. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they're kind of like, maybe they were like, oh, we'll do it this month, and then maybe they're like, you know what, we're gonna wait till the fall and see if things shake out a little bit here, and we can kind of let some of this blow over for them. Not that I'm saying it should, but I'm just saying that's probably the corporate idea there.
Apparently, this is why the PlayStation event has been delayed. Is because this is where Call of Duty is going to be shown off, and PlayStation was waiting for Call of Duty to be ready to show everything.
That makes sense.
So
yeah, so
we'll see.
Cool.
We'll see
cool
soon.
To see holiday stuff. See our big shooters coming out. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. That is going to be it for today's GG replay. As we wind up, though, wind down rather, not wind up. We wound up earlier.
I'm wound up with all the coffee.
I am wound up from the Red Bull. My morning Coca-Cola. If you like what you're hearing and everything you're seeing, we have a whole website, www.gamegroofs or goodnightgroofs.com. Game Groofs is a different thing. We also have a podcast called Game Groofs, which is our all-encompassing gaming podcast. Comes out on Sundays. But if you check out our Patreon and join the $3 tier, then you can get early access to Game Groofs, and you could be listening to it right now after this on Fridays, which is pretty cool. So we also have a $1, $5 tier and a Patreon. Totally worth checking out. We appreciate anything, even if you guys just want to listen, watch, leave us comments or send us emails. That's super amazing. We love that. But also, if you're feeling super generous and you want to support us and see if we can make more content and see how great we can make it, the Patreon is there, and we love having it open. In addition, if you're listening to this on your podcast provider or just on YouTube, make sure to thumbs up. Give it a 5-star. Slap the llama. I don't know what kind of things you can do to say I love this, but give it a go. Because anything and everything helps, and we really, really appreciate everyone out there who made it to this part of the podcast where we shill you.
Don't
Yeah.
go slapping your llamas, okay? Don't go
No.
slapping.
It was thinking of that old Winamp thing. Do you remember Winamp?
No.
Do you ever use Winamp? It was like that. It was like a music. It was like
Oh
a
yeah, the media player. Okay,
the media
yeah.
player, and they had like a built-in sound that was always on it, and it was like this announcer guy goes like, "Winamp, it really whips the llama's ass."
What? I do not remember
Yeah.
that. That's so weird.
Every time it comes up on Reddit, people always like quote that when everyone goes, "Do you remember Winamp?" Yeah,
Strange.
very strange. Yeah, well, you might remember it because that was how we used to listen to Shoutcast and listen to all our World of Warcraft radio stations. And
Yeah.
stuff. Good time. Anyway, that is going to be it for GG Replay today for Friday, August 13th, 2021. We're going to go off, have a lovely weekend. I'm going to go play some Hades and find my new weird Greek mythology waifus. Matt, do you have any plans for the weekend?
My only plan for the weekend is to try to erase Blue Box Game Studios from my memory.
Put them in the blue box because they're getting recycled. Wait, no, we don't want that. Don't put them in the blue box.
Yeah, we don't want them recycled.
All right, that is going to be it. Everyone, have a great day. Have a great weekend. We will see you again on Monday, and don't forget on Sunday to listen to Game Groofs. Good night, Groofs.